Doesn't look very big. It's a common, isn't it? Probably only a low double. Yeah, so we arrived, what, 6 o'clock this morning, just turning light, pulled up on this section of canal. We've not fished it before. Got our heads down for a couple of hours, didn't we, at least?
Yeah.
Because we were tired after the long drive and the shuttle. And then the sun's come out, so we thought we'd have a bit of go bread bombing. Wandered up the canal, probably about half a mile, and we found a group. Oh, we've been clicking. Oh no. Let me try and so we've got a boat coming. See if I can stop it. We'll get it to go right wide.
I think he's got sick of waiting.
Yeah, he's coming through, isn't he? We'll give it a little bit of stick at least. You don't want it. So Tony's putting the rod right into the water as best he can while this boat goes past. And hopefully when he picks the rod back up, we've still got a carp left on. Yeah, but it's going for the boat. It's flat rodding him again now. It's a hell of a fight. Fighting well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Strong fish. Let's get this side. He must be. Oh, it's a common.
It's in the net.
That doesn't look a bad fish, actually. Well done,
Yeah. It's got to be 25.
Yeah, she's oh yeah, she's got a good frame. So here she goes. Tony's first French carp on the bread bomb from the canal. 35 pounds, 35 and a half, yeah?
Yeah.
She bigger than we thought. Great scrap, wasn't it? Fantastic fight, and you can see why. Look, she's a
Certainly
big long fish. Solid, absolutely solid. Like I said, we didn't think it was this big, did we?
No, nowhere near. We just thought they were small ones, didn't we?
But it's just deceiving when they're in the water and you can only see the last sort of few inches in the, because the water's quite coloured. Fantastic. Okay, let's go back then. There she goes. Brilliant. Congratulations. Boom.
Cheers.
We've Tony had one from that section. There was another half chance. There's a big mirror there with a sort of growth on its back, in it, big, proper old warrior looking thing.
Lump.
And we estimated that common that you had when we saw it in the water, it was sort of low to mid 20s, didn't we? And it was a mid 30s.
Yeah.
So we thought that mirror was the biggest of the pack. So who knows how big that was? But it was taking bread close in, and I dropped one right in the margin, or right close to the edge of the canal on my near side, very tight to the bank. It came up and took it, but I was literally striking it almost straight out of its mouth. I couldn't get an angle on the fish. Normally I like to strike into the fish, in the direction that the fish is travelling from, strike towards, back towards it, but it just plucked it straight out of its mouth and spooked the fish. So they don't seem to be picking up anymore, so we're going to go and move to another section. So this fish is looking for a bit of bait. Looking sticky in front of it, but it's moving quite quick. Mirror. Pale mirror. Not on too long the line because it kites. Making it easier.
Trying to beat my record here, aren't you? You're up to 7 minutes.
Rod's been fully bent. Yes, sir.
There you go.
Oh, it's another one of those.
Oh, looks got it.
Very wide. Didn't take much encouragement to get this one feeding. A bit of bread in, sprayed across the back, and she was scooping it up, taking it really confidently. Fantastic fish. Really thick set. Not particularly deep, not particularly long, but really thick set, wide across the back. So she's 36 pound on the nose. Gave a hell of a scrap. Took the bread and then just tore across the canal. Took me through under numerous overhanging branches and trees. Picked up all manner of woodwork on the way, but the tackle held. Incredible fight, wasn't it, Tony? Just mind blowing. And then we had a bit of an audience, didn't we, with a lot of the local French.
I managed to get them all into footage.
Yeah.
The crowd behind cheering on.
Yeah, so really pleased to have landed this because Tony's had one already today. Nice for us both to catch one. Yeah, unceremonious, but here we go, here we go, here we go. You got her?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Moving on from the canal, we travelled down through the centre of France to arrive at our river location on the Sunday afternoon, only to find that there were sunbathers in the swim. So we headed off to another section of the river just for the evening and put the rods out for a couple of hours, managing to catch a fish each. Then we returned to the first swim and got our heads down for the night. We set the alarm clocks for first light and got the rods out early, eagerly awaiting the first bite. Didn't even need the waders. He's not having it, is he? Well done. It's no monster, is it?
Nah.
Tony's just said Ronnie's got his second fish on. It's not that long after, is it? What, has it been about an hour? Not even that long, so that's a good sign. Left hand rod this time. I'd just literally seen a fish jump clear, and then you had a beep on, and then the rod tip was pulling down, wasn't it? So they're starting to get on the bait, which is good. That left hand side of the swim seems to be the one, because I guess, you know, the open water to the left is where they're mostly holding up. Yeah. Got it. Back off a bit, just a better angle. Near the mirror, is it? No, common. Just caught on its, the line's caught on its dorsal. That's almost koi-like. Very pale, isn't it? Quite quite a growth on its side. It's a good fish. I'm going to say, got some depth to it. It's horrible. Yeah, that looks like some kind of disease, doesn't it?
Oh,
Again.
No, I think it's just caught itself or something.
Or scrape the scales backwards.
Yeah.
Again, it looks.
That looks a fat thing. That could be bigger than that other one.
Yeah, it could be bigger than the other one. Let's hope so.
37.25. Fucking hell.
Here's Tony, always blind in one side, one eye look.
Yeah.
Tony with the biggest fish of the trip so far. What was it, 37?
37.25.
37 and a quarter. It's a big, deep, pale common with some damage to its side. That might be, yeah, that belly. Beautiful fish. Well, no, hold them up again. I was going to say, oh no, we'll do the better ones from this side.
Yeah.
Keep going, that's fine. Oh yeah, he looks pristine on it, so it's like two different fish.
Like a proper fish at this side.
So, what, less than an hour since the last bite?
Sure.
Seems start to get going. To be fair, and then on Tony's on the left hand side, we've seen most of the shows, so those fish obviously moving in from the left. You can crop the water pan out. Oh yeah, that was good. Head up a little bit. No, that's probably too much. Looks too. There you go. Now that's it. That's the one. Oh, the sun's gone in. That's just nice now. Light. It's just good. Looks really pale.
Yeah.
Silver golden.
Right.
Just gonna treat it up.
Do the same again and get a feel putting it back.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's fresh, is that? I think that's just done it on that snag.
Yeah, these are harsh environments. We're bringing these fish in over sandbanks, you know, and they are catching on snags, unfortunately. I think it's unavoidable, but they're hardy fish. That's carrying a bit of weight and spawn, isn't it? So we just had a visit from Guard to Pesh, just as Tony was where we're dealing with them, photographing and returning that lovely common, and they were all right, weren't they? But they did make it clear that there's no night fishing, and we checked with them, and I think no sleeping on the bank as well. So I asked whether it was okay to sleep up in the car park, and they confirmed it was okay. So we are going to have to pack up at night and move the gear out. It's not worth the risk of a fine. I think it's typically about €90, Tony, so it's not worth the fine. And anyway, we're getting bites during the day. That was the second bite. I suspect, as we keep the bait going in, it'll hopefully get more consistent. So we're getting bites during the day. If we can keep working it, we don't need to fish at night. It's not worth the risk. That's what you're going to get. That's one of your runs. Going through something.
Yep.
Pulling it. Coming now, isn't it? So you've got to have pass. He's getting a few kind of shadows on it and that. Probably not in the best area. Yeah, he's got lights on his mouth.
I've had a decent day, so I'm not complaining. tree around it.
You're not, if you get this one in, you're not weighing the stick as well. Whoa.
Is it over the top of that other line or under it?
It's
It's under, isn't it?
and I might just lift it up, Tony, so you've got a bit more space.
Scott, do us a favour, put that fucking camera down and sort that net out.
What's wrong with it? Oh, a bit.
It's all tangled up.
Oh, sorry, mate. Stick and all. So second day, just on the river. We slept in the car park last night. That was and that was a mistake. That car park was quite busy, even going into 2 o'clock in the morning. Cars pulling in, you know, workers working on the rail track nearby making noise, and then cockerels waking us up at 2:30 in the morning. In fact, we didn't get away. We had planned to arrive just at dawn, but it was about 7:30 by the time we got down here. And as soon as we arrived, the weather's cooled right off. We even had a bit of rain last night. As soon as you get down here, the fish are just jumping everywhere, so they seem to be very, very active. Put 10 kilos of bait in last night, so hopefully that will condition them to getting used to finding some food there. So we put the rods out straight away, and within minutes Tony had a pickup, but unfortunately got snagged up and he lost it. We're just down for the day, and then we're going to pack up later on before dark, or maybe a couple of hours before dark, and go and fish some lakes in the Alps. So fingers crossed for today, because I didn't get anything yesterday. Tony had 5 takes, 4 landed. 3 of those 4 were, you know, good mid-30 pluses. So, you know, he's having a good trip. But I've yet to have one out. Oh, well, I had one out of the barrage, but I've yet to have one out of this spot. So hopefully today is my day. Every time it's one of your rods.
You what?
Every time it's one of your rods.
Bastard.
Come off. Okay, it's 1:45. We had quite a bit of action this morning. Second day on the river. Tony had the first bite, snagged, lost it. I had the second bite, it was ripping. I made a schoolboy error, I hadn't turned the alarm on, so good job Tony spotted it, but it had gone quite a way. Felt like a good fish as well, staying low, felt heavy, and it was, you know, like they do, it was kiting. But unfortunately when they kite on a long line, inevitably they hit snags, and this one did. It was locked solid, so I went back to the car, zipped back on the bike, got the life jacket, and swam down the line. Tony held the rod, but you know, I'd been swept along a little bit by the current, couldn't really get the right side of it, and it was well and truly jammed in the snag. So eventually it gave way, and I swam back to the shore. Since then, I think we've had Tony's had at least a couple more bites. He's landed one. He's just had a common that was just over 30. I'll insert the picture. So, you know, the bites are coming quite quickly after recast or after we just baited. I think the noise and the disturbance is helping to bring them in. So we're gonna keep you know, keep quite active and keep putting the bait in, recasting the rods every hour or so, and see if that brings a few more fish. On something, innit?
Yeah.
They are moving again, yeah. Sometimes you get them back to it and they kick out of it, he says, too soon.
Oh, come in then, it seems to have
Locked up again, yeah. I've never known it snag is this. Last year, I mean there were snags, but just seems to be more this year. Worth putting that back on the rest for a bit, see if it kicks out of it or pulls out of it. Tony did manage to get that fish moving again and eventually landed it. And that was the last fish of the day. We decided to cut our losses and head for the Alps. We moved, we're fishing the Alps now. Pulled up at a lake last night. There's no night fishing, but so we just slept in the car park. And then we were up this morning and cars were arriving and setting up in swims. Local French anglers, they're not fishing for carp, but one of them was the Garde de Pêche, and they told us that this lake was private. But it was only 10 euros a day each for 2 rods, wasn't it? So we thought we'd give it a shot. Tony, I mean, you had a bite within half an hour of putting them out, didn't you?
Yeah.
Tony's fishing to the corner of an island, so it's a little bit shallower there, so we got a bite quite quickly. But fortunately, he knew what he was doing, a head straight for the snags, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I was just contemplating a move because I'm in a I'm getting drops of at least 12, 14 foot, and I didn't think, you know, at this time of the spring the fish would be preferring that kind of depth, those kind of depths. So I just slung a couple of choddies out in the gap between the island and the bank. I cannot, this fish is not behaving itself. You got any water? Just to yeah, but before I was just making a cup of coffee and contemplating the move when preparing for the move when this rod went. And it's 31-pound dumpy mirror, which will not behave. A little bit two-tone on the other side. Maybe it's filming all that time. Oh, it's saying the SD card's full. But we emptied it, didn't we? So maybe I need to go back and just empty it. Just follow him. We'll just follow as best you can with it. Looks big, doesn't he? Such a wide fish. I had that one fish earlier this morning about 11:30. Not had any action since. It's now 4 o'clock, so I've moved a little bit further around to the back of an island where I've seen quite a few shows. So I'm going to keep the right hand rod, they're both on choddies. I'm going to keep the right hand rod just off the back of that island and put a little bit of bait over it. Left hand rod, I'm just going to rove it around a bit, see if I can drop on a fish or two and get a quick bite. It's very deep water, even tight up against the island, or fairly tight to the island. It's still early spring, but we've had such a mild winter. So this is just going to go out to choddy. Got one on. They feel heavy in this deep water. Of course, it doesn't mean they are, but I was just on a phone call to Tony. I don't know whether I've finished the call, but never mind. So this was on the rod that's actually fished to the back of the island. So I did have a recast on the left hand rod into the middle, but I can't quite reach where the fish are. I've just told Tony to get around there because they are showing underneath the pylons over there. But then this right hand rod's gone, so that's good. Oh, it's shaking its head quite a bit. I don't think it's a big fish, but that's good. The net ready. another mirror, is it? It's beautifully clear water, you can see it twisting and turning. Well, I can. I had flicked a little bit of bait out onto that as well, just to get them bobbing around. This moves at about 45 minutes an hour. Yeah, it's a mirror. Oh, it's going, swimming in and then out of the net, and I can't lift the net up. Get in the net. There you go. Massive. I just make 20. They're lovely clear water, so these fish are nice and dark. All the lead stayed on, that's lucky. Saves me having to go around and get. Quite often happens with a drop bag. Well, it's very rare, but it does happen with a drop bag that the lead stays on. Second bite in the swim, and it seems to be whenever I'm on the phone to Tony telling him to get get around this side of the lake, he's I have a bite. This one does look a bit bigger. I don't want to jinx it. Certainly feels stronger than the last one. Just slacking the clutch a little bit. Problem is I've got another one in the net. Hopefully Tony's on his way over with a spare net. Oh, I start making. Oh, watch I don't let that other fish go. Not that it matters. I think this is a bigger one. Goodness, this is a strong fish. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Seems to be the harder I pull, the more it pulls back. That mirror's trying to get out. Come on, Tony, where are you? Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. This time. Yes. He's in. Not too soon as well. That's a 30. And there's a 20 next to it. Just hasn't got the depth as it is, but it's a powerful fish, that. the lens is kind of angled towards it because it's a bit down at the moment. It does help.
I can't see what it's...
Just pointing in the general direction.
Yeah.
It's quite wide, and I can always clip it. She goes 39. Thank you very much. Might not be able to see on the video, but Tony's into a fish at the back there in the swim just opposite me. Always seems to be that whenever we're on the phone, there's a bite, you know. And I was just talking to him. We were just about to wrap up the call, and he had a screaming take. It's been quiet today. There's a real chill in the air. It seems to have put the fish right off. In fact, I talked to one of the bailiffs, and he said, you know, that's normally what happens. These fish really like the sun and the heat. You have a cold spell like this and it puts them off. But still, you know, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. This was the best time of the day yesterday, and true to form, Tony's got a bite. Hopefully he'll get this in the net. So Tony's just landed that fish. Really pleased for him. There's a bit of a smudge on the lens. Yeah, really pleased for him. I'll give him a ring in a bit to see how big it is. Looked a bit splashy when he netted it, so whether it's a monster, I don't know. Hopefully this is a sign that we might get a few bites as we run into the evening. The sun's come out now and it's warming the place up. I didn't mention before, but I sent a boat out with a deeper on the back of it, a bay boat out with a deeper on the back of it. It's 35 foot out there, 35, 36 foot. And then I got told off by the bailiff because you're not allowed to use a bait boat. Yeah, so I'll give him a ring in a bit, see how big it is. So we're just pulling off the Alps lake. Tony managed to rescue his trip the last 2 days with a fish. What was it, £26?
26 and a half.
26 pounds, 26 and a half. Anyway, you lost one yesterday, so you had a blank day yesterday, but at least you recovered it today. I didn't have anything, not even a touch, and that was from the same spot I had 3 pickups on from yesterday. So it just shows the fish, like on any lake, they switch on and they switch off. Yesterday was a good day. Today was one of those scraper days. We hardly saw anything show, did we, either? So they just weren't as active.
Completely different today.
Yeah, and the weather's cooled down. That's probably why. We've had snow on the mountains, but it's one for another trip. Managed to talk to. I mean, the garde de pêche on this lake. We must have had our tickets checked 2 or 3 times a day. Yeah. By different garde de pêche, so they're on it, proper on it, on this particular lake. So what we're going to do now, we've got a couple of days of the trip left. We're on Thursday, we've got Friday full day, and then a little bit on Saturday, and then we'll have to travel back. So we're sick of sleeping in car parks, aren't we? We want a bit of grass.
Luxury of a bit of grass.
Put bivvy up on. It'd be even nice to sling the rods out for the night, wouldn't it? So I might head back to the canal to have a second go
for the last day,
because that's 2 or 3 hours north of here and gets us a little bit closer to Calais. Just means that final journey back is a bit shorter. Instead of being 8 or 9 hours, it's more like 5 hours. Going to try and find a night lake if I can get the sat nav to work. Sat nav, that's an old expression, isn't it? The navigation app to work.
Do you see that then?
Right over my, yeah, just
clean out right on your spot.
Right on my spot. So that's it, the end of the trip. We're packing up. We did one last night on the canal just as a stop off on the way back up to Calais, just to make that journey a little bit shorter. It's only 5 hours to get to the tunnel from here, and we tried this same section of canal on the way down, and we got it wrong basically. The fish were up the opposite end, but it was 20 degrees warmer then, and the opposite end is a much shallower section of this canal. So we were up there last night. We were up the opposite end last night, but the fish weren't up there. We didn't get a bite, so we moved down here about 9 o'clock this morning just to fish the rest of the day near the lock. Let's just turn that round, just to fish the rest of the day near the lock. But the fish weren't playing ball. Like I say, the temperatures dropped 20 degrees in the last few days, and certainly our experience is that the fishing number of bites have slowed down as the temperatures come down. Then also we've had a lot of rain last night, or a fair amount of rain last night, and this canal has come up a couple of inches and coloured right up, so that influx of cold water I'm sure won't have helped. So no success on this bit of the canal, but we've definitely seen the fish. The fish are still in there, the big fish, and I had a couple from here in November last year, so the fish are definitely here. It's just they're not feeding. So we're going to pack up now, pack up the rest of the gear, barrow it back up to the car, which is just at the top there, and get on our way. We've left plenty of time to get back to the tunnel. We might even be able to get on an earlier tunnel, but we won't be back in the UK till probably midnight or around about that time, and then we're travelling back for another 3 hours to get to the Midlands. Tony's got to go back up to Halifax, so he's got a couple of hours on top of that, so it's going to be a long old drive. But it's been a great adventure, hasn't it, Tony?
Brilliant.
We've fished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different venues, I make it, and some of them more than once. So yeah, it's been a great trip. We've had fish to 39. You've had a rake of 30s, haven't you? Mid to high 30s. I can't say mid 30s, can I? 730s, rake of 30s. So Tony's had more 30s than he's probably had in his fishing career. Well, there ain't many 30s up north, big 30s up north. So yeah, so we've had a good trip. Still your personal best to get, but that we'll have to save that for another trip.